morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP, looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Monday the 28th of December. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, bullish start to the morning here. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid a fallback through the pivot at 26,766. Take a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 27,719. You can see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break back through to 27,500 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 28 to pin Bitcoin back. In the event of an extended rally through the day, Bitcoin should test resistance at 29,000 before any pullback. The second major resistance level sits at 29,197. A fallback through the pivot we bring the first major support level sitting at 25,288 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should avoid sub 25,000 levels. Second major support level sits at 24,335. Looking at the MACD, slight narrowing of the bearish histogram, supporting the early upside, but nothing indicative of a possible bullish cross, so you need to keep an eye on that. On the EMA, however, we are seeing the 50 pull away marginally from the 100 and the 200. Supporting the early upside and suggesting further upside through the morning. So key through the early part of the day, avoid fallback through the pivot at 26,766, break back through to 27,500 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, particularly bullish start to the morning here. Going to need to see Ethereum avoid a fall through the pivot at 674.71 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 724.40. Going to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break out from yesterday's high that was at 714.99. So barring an extended crypto rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Ethereum test resistance at 750 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 764.69. Fall through the pivot. We'll bring the first major support level sitting at 634.42 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should avoid sub 600 levels. Second major support level sits at 584.73. Looking at the MACD, saw Ethereum avoid a bearish cross late yesterday and a widening of the bullish histogram this morning, supporting this early breakout. On the EMA, we're also seeing the 50 pull away from the 100 and the 200, supporting further upside on the day ahead. So keep through the early part of the morning. Avoid the pivot level at 674.71, break out from yesterday's high, 714.99, to then bring resistance levels into play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, it's also a bullish start to the morning. Going to need to see Litecoin avoid a fallback through the pivot at 129.48 to bring that first major resistance level, so at 137.42 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break out from 135 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 139.3 to cap any upside on the day. In the event of a breakout, should see Litecoin test resistance at 150 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 147.23. Fallback through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 119.67 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid sub 115 levels. 23.6% fib sits at 112. Second major support level sits at 111.72. Looking at the MACD, you've got a narrowing of the bearish histograms, supporting the early upside. On the EMA, we're seeing the 50 hold its ground after a narrowing on the 100 and the 200, so need to keep an eye on that. Nothing conclusive as yet. So keep through the early part of the day. Avoid a fallback through the pivot at 129.48 and break through to the 135 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels will be in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, its troubles continue. Bearish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 0.2868 to bring the first major resistance level at 0.3080 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.30 levels. So barring extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 0.31 to cap any upside on the day. In the event of a breakout, should see Ripple's XRP test resistance at 0.32 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 0.3326. Prepared to move through the pivot, we'll bring the first major support levels at 0.2622 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.25 levels. Second major support levels at 0.2410. Looking at the MACD, got a bearish cross this morning, supporting the early morning pullback. On the EMAs, we're also seeing the 50 fail to close in on the 100 or the 200, supporting further downside through the morning. So keep through the early part of the day, move back through to 0.29 levels, through that pivot level at 0.2868 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels are in play.